Hi guys, I wanted to update you all on my appointment that I had in Chicago with Dr. Barboi. Um, he specializes in dysautonomia and myasthenia gravis. He's a neurologist. So drove up there and met him, and he is a great doctor. This is the first time that I've seen a doctor that I have not had to explain all of my conditions. He knew what Ehlers-Danlos was. He knew what mast cell disorder was. He obviously knew what myasthenia gravis was. He knew dysautonomia and POTS and all of that. He knew gastroparesis. I did not have to explain anything at all, and it was so refreshing to be able to do that. So when I went, he wanted to do some testing to see if I still had the dysautonomia and how that was and everything. So they did a tilt table test and a sweat test, both of which I failed. So basically just means I still do have dysautonomia and POTS, which is the postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. During the visit, we talked a little bit about my myasthenia gravis and how it was behaving and things like that. And, talked to him about being on mestinon, which is a medication for it, and that I feel pretty stable with my myasthenia, and he agreed. So I'm doing, I just have to keep doing what I'm doing with that. As far as the dysautonomia and things, as long as I can get enough fluids and salt, and stay out of too much heat, and overexerting myself and things like that, it does okay. But the big thing that happened was, we started talking about my gastroparesis, and he really wanted to help me. This doctor was so genuine, and in the chronic illness community, sometimes that is very rare. But he was just wonderful. And so he talked a little bit about, what I have done for my gastroparesis, why, when did I have to be on a feeding tube and things like that. And he asked me if I had ever tried a medication called domperidone, and I had told him no, that I've heard of it, I know what it is, but doctors usually don't prescribe it here in the States because it's not FDA approved here or something like that. You can only get it in Canada or Australia or New Zealand or places like that. So most doctors, they won't order it. So, but basically it's a motility drug, and so it helps with getting your stomach to actually function. And it helps with nausea and things like that also. So he said, well, I really want you, I believe that you can be off of this feeding tube, and I'm going to order this for you. He goes, go ahead and order it where you need to order it from, out of the country, and get started on it. And we also talked about the medical cannabis and how it's been helping my nausea and my appetite, but it really wasn't helping the motility. And he said that is very typical, that, because we were really disappointed. We thought when we were talking about if my feeding tube was going to be permanent or not, a few videos back, it was because we had tried the medical cannabis, and it helped with my nausea and my appetite, but it just, my food still kind of sat there. So this particular medication being added on is to help that side of it. So he said with the combination of the cannabis and this medication, that he's confident that I could be able to get off this feeding tube. And that gave me so much hope, so much joy, I can't even describe. I am in pain every single day with this feeding tube. It's been since February, and I am not healed yet. I still have a lot of pain at my tube site. It causes pain in my side. It causes heartburn because of the tube being in my stomach. It causes a lot of issues. on one hand, but on the other hand, it has helped me regain some strength and weight and energy and things like that. So, there is that. But being able to go back to eating food would be amazing. Like, I eat now just a few bites of things, but just being able to eat with the rest, with my husband and things like that would be great. So it's going to take a little while for the medication to come since it's coming out of the country. So it might be a couple weeks before I can even start it. And once I do start it, it can take up to a month or so for you to see the full benefit of it to make sure it's working or not going to work. So it'll be a while. So in order to transition off of my feeding tube, it could take a couple months. I'm going to have to start back on more liquids and then more softer foods and then back into just regular normal foods. But those foods still have to be low fat and low fiber because of my digestive system still. But I'm okay with that. Like, I would be okay even if this domperidone allowed me to be on a liquid diet. Like, if I could, instead of having a feeding tube and I had to have a liquid diet instead. In the past, when I was on liquids, it didn't work out because those liquids don't move in my stomach either. They just sit there. Also, I have slow liquid emptying. So that's, one of the other reasons the feeding tube was necessary. Like I said, I will take whatever I can get if it means being off of my feeding tube. It's just very difficult, and some people just may not understand. Those with feeding tubes will understand. So yeah, I've got a little ray of hope. There's like a light at the end of the tunnel for me, and I'm really praying that my body accepts this medication, that I don't have a mast cell reaction to it. We're going to start off slow with it. So, we'll see. It's really all in God's hands, and that's the way it always is. And so, but I'm praying. And so I would ask if you guys would pray for me, if, stand in the gap for me for that this medication will work for me and that I will be able to get off of this feeding tube. That would be amazing, and it's something I'm looking forward to, and I'm putting my hope in. So I'm gonna do all the work that I need to do that, and we'll see how it goes. But anyway, I just wanted to update you with that great news, and I'm looking forward to this being a possibility for me. So yeah, but anyway, I just wanted to update you guys, and thanks for the prayers, and please continue them. In the meantime, when you're praying for the medication to work, can you pray for the pain to be for some relief for me? The feeding tube site pain is some days can be almost unbearable, but I push through and I do what I need to do still. But it'd be nice if I didn't have to deal with that. So thank you, and I will see you next time.